Today we're taking a look at the LG A1 OLED, and that's coming up right after this. The A1 OLED from LG is an accessible OLED TV model, and today I'm going to be helping you guys decide if it's the right TV for you. Before we get started though, please like the video if you're a fan of OLED TVs, and let me know in the comments what country you're watching today's video from, and if you haven't already then hit subscribe now so you don't miss a thing in the future. Full disclosure before we get started, this video is sponsored by LG. They've sent me this TV for free and they are allowing me to keep it, but all opinions are my own and I haven't been paid to say anything. So here we have the LG A1 OLED TV from LG. It's the 55-inch model we've got here, and it was relatively simple to unbox. It's still a two-person job, as with the top half of the screen being so thin, you really don't want to risk damaging it. To install it, we simply lay the TV on its front using the packaging and the box as protection. We screwed in the stands and then placed it up on the sideboard. Now, something to keep in mind with this TV is that the stands are on either edge, so if you're going to be using the stands, then make sure that you do have enough space. From stand to stand, it measures in at 112 centimeters, so your unit is going to have to be at least this wide. As you can see, the TV's got nice slim bezels all round, and the display is incredibly thin. The top half is all display, and the bottom half has a plastic unit coming out, and this is of course for all of the TV components, and where the Visa mounts are for those of you that are going to mount on a wall. In terms of connectivity, we get 3 HDMI 2.0 ports, 2 of them are on the side and 1 of them is on the rear. The rear ports are also recessed a little bit, so they're still usable when you're wall mounting. We also get 2 USB ports on the side along with a common interface slot, and on the back we've also got the optical out, line out, eARC on the rear HDMI, Ethernet, RF and a headphone out. Now this TV also has Bluetooth 5 and Wi-Fi, but for the full list of specs you can click the link down in the description. So I'm sure most of you watching this video are now aware what an OLED TV is, but a brief explanation just in case is that OLED is self-illuminating. Unlike LED TVs that have an LCD panel with an LED lighting that up, we've got individual organic cells that produce their own light. This gives us infinite contrast, as the brightness of the black part of the screen is actually 0 due to there being no light at all. The advantage of OLED is of course for perfect deep blacks, smooth motion, a wider viewing angle, and of course the ability to have a very thin screen. Being an LG TV, we get the WebOS software, which is the same across all of their TVs apart from different versions. The software works well and it's easy to use. It contains all the useful apps for media and has plenty of suggestions to choose from. I much prefer WebOS over Android TV, and while the A1 doesn't have LG's latest processor, it does have the A7 Gen 4, which is a quad-core CPU and a perfectly capable chipset. Scrolling through the menus is fast and snappy. The only thing to mention is that from time to time it will stutter, but I mean it's only for about a second, and most of the time it's fast and snappy, as you can see here. So if we start off with the 4K HDR content, you can see it looks incredible. The great thing about the A1 is that it supports HDR10 Pro, Dolby Vision IQ and HLG, so whatever media you're watching, all the HDR is supported. The picture looks incredible with great contrast, vibrant and accurate colours, and especially with some black in the video, the colours pop out and look great. As with most LG TVs, you get preset choices for the display. You can choose from Vivid, Standard, Cinema Home, Cinema, Game Optimizer and Filmmaker. The preset allows you to pick the one that suits you best, and of course Game Optimizer is for the gamers, and this delivers an impressive 1 millisecond response time, and the Filmmaker mode turns off motion smoothing while preserving the original aspect ratios, colours and frame rates. So this is to accurately deliver the director's original version so you can experience the film the way they intended. We also get lots of presets for sound modes, from AI sound, standard, cinema, clear voice, sports, music, as well as game optimizer. You can also go into all settings. In here you can change the display or sound settings for those of you that want to drill in a bit further rather than use the presets. The sound from the TV is also good. While many use surround or a soundbar now, if you're relying on the TV speakers alone, there's no issue with the two 10-watt speakers come built into the TV. They do an okay job. But for an accessible OLED TV, I'm very impressed with the colours, the vibrance and the clarity of the A1 OLED TV. I imagine people are going to be considering this as their first OLED TV, and it's really not a bad choice at all. When it comes to the standard content, it also looks great. The A1 does a good job at upscaling the lower resolution content, and the results are a great quality picture even in standard definition. Whether it be film or TV, it produces a colourful, crisp image that really is a pleasure to watch. On the gaming front, it's also a great choice, but not for everyone. The LG A1 OLED has the built-in game optimizer, and this reduces input lag to just 1 millisecond, giving you the best gaming experience possible. One thing to note, however, is that this is achieved by reducing the processing, and you can see the colours do change and dull down slightly. Of course, this can be fine-tuned to your liking with the game optimizer, and for those who still want those bright colours, you can still use vivid or standard modes. You can enjoy your games as they were intended, and with the 4K OLED display, they look fantastic. I've played a variety of games from platformers, first-person shooters, FIFA and racing, and it's a great experience with smooth motion, great colours and clarity. Now the only downside on the gaming front is it is a 60Hz panel, so you can play your games at 4K at 60Hz, but there's no 120. Now next gen consoles do now allow for 4K at 120Hz, but unfortunately this requires a 120Hz panel, and it also needs HDMI 2.1. HDMI 2.1 is relatively new and still very expensive at the moment, so if high refresh rate gaming is what you're after, then this isn't going to be suitable. But for those happy at 60Hz gaming, you're not going to be disappointed with the results. It looks great, performs well, and the 1 millisecond response time makes the game very enjoyable. The remote tends to be the same across all the LG TVs now, and it's a great remote to easily control your TV. You have all the useful buttons like home, settings, input source, volume and channels. We also get a microphone button that allows for voice search by speaking into the remote, and it's also an air mouse, meaning you can wave it around to control the cursor on screen. At the bottom we get shortcuts for Netflix, Prime Video, Disney+, Rakuten TV, Google Home and Alexa. It would have been nice to see a YouTube shortcut on the remote, but it's not too much effort to just press home and open YouTube from the app list. So overall, I would recommend the A1 for those that are after an accessible OLED. It's got everything you need in terms of features, specs, and it's great for gaming TV or movies. The fact that it supports all of the HDR formats is great for those of you that are going to be watching a lot of films, and as I said, the only downside I've had is the 500 nits of max brightness, but again, it's only really an issue if you're going to be watching in a brightly lit room most of the time. Now for those of you that want to take a look at the full specs, I've placed the links down in the description below, and as always, if there's anything I've missed or you've got any questions, then leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. As always though, I'd like to know your thoughts in the comments, so what do you think of this TV and who out there is a fan of OLED? But thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, smash a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down twice, and I'll see you guys in the next one.